Hello everyone, my name is Juan and I'm the CEO and co-founder at Finboot. Today we are here for an interview with Noslen Suarez, who is an account executive at Finboot. Noslen, thank you very much for being here today. I know how busy you are, both scaling up our customers' green supply chain ecosystems, but also working on new initiatives and kind of incoming ecosystems that are going to be part of our basically broader offering. Hopefully today we're going to have time to talk about all of that. But first, again, well, most people in our ecosystem know you. For those newcomers, could you tell us a little bit about your background and about your role at Finboot?
Yeah, sure. So first, thank you for having me here. My background, I am a physicist. So I came from academia, have a bachelor in physics and a master studying light. After I arrived in the journey of a PhD. A PhD in quantum mechanics, studying how light interact with matter. And at that moment, I realized that all my research and knowledge was not touching like the real world, let's say. So I decided that I want a change and I want to do something more related to industry or more focus on people, know how to impact with people. So I decided to change everything and start to working in a satellite company. So working in remote sensing, how this technology, so taking satellite image, analyzing this can impact on the life of agriculture people and also in sustainability related to the product that we consume. In that journey, more on the sales part, but also developing a new solution for this industry, I decided still changing this opportunity to being with Finboot arrived. So I am here with the company for more than 5 years, doing a similar role. So my role here is a bit on the sales part, so identifying new opportunities to implement our solution, but also in the part of the configuration. So how can we tune our tool and create it, new functionalities also to deliver value to the industries and to the customers that we have.
A very broad and a very complex background, I would say, right? So quantum technology, remote sensing, satellites, blockchain, and now getting to know and understand more and more the core capital intensive industries that we work with, right? So again, incredible, let's say, journey, and you and I share that, let's say, background that is quite tech heavy. We met each other while doing our PhDs, and then I think that transition and that movement to let's work more closely to the people that can benefit the most from using technology, right? So enabling the use of technology for business users and basically for the broader world in a way, right? So again, that's great. At Finboot in particular, we've got our flagship product, Marco Track and Trace. Now, Marco Track and Trace is positioned as a green supply chain management solution for the world's largest capital-intensive organizations. Now, what does that mean, right? Can we get into a bit more context again for the viewers? If you can tell us with a bit more detail, what are the sectors that you work with? Yeah. What are the products that we're tracing, and what are the solutions that you're bringing for these organizations and to help, let's say, with the traceability of those products?
At Finboot, what we offer is a digital traceability tool focused on green supply chain management. So our solution is really addressing sustainability topics on a broad industry. We are mainly focused on 4 industries, so oil and gas, chemical, mining, and steel. And in these 4 industries, we have different clients, different use cases where we are tracing mostly sustainable and renewable products. So, for example, in the oil and gas industry, we are working with oil and gas companies, tracing their sustainable fuel production. Also on the chemical, quite related also sustainable packaging, so tracing everything from the raw material to the final product, and also delivering value to the final customer that is outside of this industrial ecosystem that we are working with. Our solution not only focus on traceability, it's also related about how all these new regulations that are appearing to make sustainable product and sustainable industry in a way that we can have our healthy planet for a long time. So different use cases, different products that we are tracing, different industry, and all with a single solution that is able to be configured to address all these different pain points.
Yeah, and I think that's key, right? Because we've got, again, yes, different industries, oil and gas, chemicals, metals, but always with that common thread of capital intensive, but also the type of organizations that have a really big reputational challenge when it comes to sustainability, right? So again, there's, and you and I know that for a fact, there's fast movers and there's people that are kind of putting in the work to really get us to decarbonization, and that's key. But the only way that path, let's say, to net zero, it can be trusted, or it can be transparent, or it can be accountable, is if these organizations that are doing the right thing start communicating their efforts. And part of that comes around about tracing the products, tracing that production, and being able to communicate with data, a way to back up those ESG and sustainability claims, right? So that's key, right? And I think, again, quite interesting, let's say, to understand so many different products that can be traced, right? From a sustainable fuel that we may be pumping into our cars, to plastic packaging that we may be grabbing in the supermarket, and even, again, things like recycled steel as well that are part of multiple industries as well, right? So saying that, let's try to get a bit more specific, right? What I would like to do is, if we can deep dive into one specific account, one example, one, of course, that is in the public domain, but one example in your experience, and give us the insights of the journey you've had with this company, how you implemented the technology, where you implemented that, and let's say the impacts of or the results that we've seen through that.
Yeah, so as you said, the idea is to communicate, to be sustainable, but first we need to trace and we need to measure what we are going to communicate. And this is one of the key example of one of our customers that you are asking for a specific one, Cepsa, that is oil and gas company here in Spain with a big presence in Europe. We are working with them in the chemical sector, let's say. And Cepsa is a clear example of how to use all the capabilities of our tools. So our system and our solution is based in 4 modules, and Cepsa is using all of them. So bookkeeping for tracing sustainability credits. They are using digital product passport to communicate what we are tracing to their suppliers and also to their customers. They are using our module of CO2 tracking to measure their emissions and to become net zero, because they have a compromise with this. And also they are using our tool to create an ecosystem where they can trace everything in their facilities and extended that to different products. So with them, we start working with one specific product that is the alkyl benzene, if I am pronouncing it right, is Sustainable Lab. This is a surfactant that is used on main of their soap, detergents, and is impacting most of the product that we are using in our daily day. The idea of using Marco Track and Trace and to put in place a traceability tool that is immutable, that have the capacity to cover all these different pain points inside of the industry, was to collect all the information related to a sustainable material, have accountability about how they are replacing fuel and crude feedstock for vegetable oils and sustainable oil in their value chain. So the process of mass balance, how they communicate this to their customers, and also how to have a bookkeeping and a record about everything that move in this process of taking the raw material, going into a cracker, turning into another raw material that will end up in this final commodity that is used in detergent. With Cepsa, we have a strong use case. We have a good relationship. We are extending the use of Marco Track and Trace, our solution, to other sectors and other products. We have implemented our solution in 3 different countries, so Brazil, Canada, and Spain. We have more than 100 users using our tool, and all their production of this specific material, sustainable lab, is traced using Marco Track and Trace. So now they have a real visibility and measures about all the sustainable properties of this material that they can communicate in a digital product passport form.
I really like this use case for a number of reasons. One is it's just the amount of areas where fossils have kind of penetrated in our lives, and most consumers out there are just unaware of that, right? So and I myself was when we started with this initiative. The fact that, again, our detergents, our soaps, they would traditionally use fossil fuels as part of the production is something that you would never imagine, right?
No, we always say plastic is the evil, but fossil fuel is everywhere.
It's everywhere, exactly. So the chemical industry is so broad, and it uses, and it's been built, let's say, based on fossil fuels. And the fact that you've got organizations, again, like Cepsa Chemicals saying, hey, you know what? We've got the technology now, and we've got the capacity, and we've got the intention to minimize our use of fossil fuels, and we're going to start introducing, again, renewable raw materials, vegetable oils, in order to produce a more sustainable type of home care products, right? Which is ultimately what we're going to be using, again, in our homes, what perhaps industries are also going to be using in their own facilities, right? So I think that's great. Also touching on the point that you said, right? So very quickly, because we started working with Cepsa
less than 1.5 years
exactly
ago.
So not even 18 months.
Nope.
And the solution has already scaled up globally. So you mentioned Canada, Brazil, and Spain. And I think it's a true testament, let's say, to the capacity, let's say, that this technology has to penetrate an organization very quickly. And also, of course, a testament to Cepsa Chemicals' ability, let's say, and interest on really betting and investing in this type of strategic digital technologies. Now, I know Cepsa is not the only giant that you work with, right? So I know you've successfully implemented ecosystems with Sabic, with Repsol, and with other major organizations in the chemicals and in the metals space across this vast experience, right? What would you say what are the key factors for success, especially looking at this kind of from your client's perspective, right? What they need to make sure they cover, almost like the checklist of, if you do it this way, this is going to be a successful implementation.
I think that from my perspective and experience working in this industry and with digital traceability is to agility. So to be the first, to not wait, to try to be a leader, because sustainability is everywhere. From our experience, you see when a company do not want to move, at the end there is the regulation, and the regulation is being more stronger. And one perfect example is the new regulation about deforestation that the European Union is putting out. And there is less than 6 months to find a tool that is able to deliver compliance with this regulation. And we see that if companies, they are not taking the lead, they are not implementing, they are trying to create a standard, because this is other problem. No, sometimes companies in these big industries, they are quite resilient because they want a standard. So be the leader, move faster, experiment, fail, experiment again, and go. And there is a lot of digital tool like us and others that give you the capacity to tune and to configure. And if this is not the right way because the industry is moving in another, so we are able to change and give you that advantage of being a leader, as is Sabic, as is Cepsa, and that is now putting digital product passport out of their chemical product and increasing the value of their products in the market. So really be a leader, do not fear to fail, start to experiment and to see all the value that this digital tool traceability can give to your organization.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned some key things there. One is, and we run into this often, right, of organizations that are saying, oh, we need to wait, we need to see like what's going to happen, and we need to figure out what the entire ecosystem is going to work out, who's going to be all of the stakeholders, and ultimately is, look, you don't have the time to do that, because as you say, regulation is coming, and it's coming in for sure. So EUDR, which you mentioned, again, a change maker in the global supply chain of certain key commodities, right? Because while it is a European regulation, we've seen how European regulation basically impacts economies globally. And that's not the only one, right? You've got things like CBAM, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. You've got the Renewable Energies Directives. There's so much, and that's only speaking at the European level. California just passed as well laws that are focused on decarbonization and a move to a net zero world, and even nations or jurisdictions like China and India are moving in that direction, right? So I think the bottom line is this is going to happen, right? This will happen, and ultimately the decision that businesses need to take now is, will I take the first step? Will I make sure that I'm ready ahead of my peers, or will I just sit and wait and then be in a rush to catch up, right? And certainly, again, the type of organizations that we work with are those first movers, with the benefit there being as well that they'll be able to gain the most business value out of this, because I insist on this message always. Sustainability, it's not just morally right, it's a huge business opportunity, and first movers are going to reap the biggest benefits, right? So let's talk a little bit about the future now, right? So looking ahead, some of the main initiatives and innovations that you are currently working with the team, and that will be seen as let's say the next evolution of these ecosystems or green supply chain ecosystems with your customers.
So our solution, I always say it to our clients in our meetings with possible clients, that our solution is alive, because supply chain is something that is always changing. So we are really flexible, always creating new functionalities, focus on what are the new needs. And now I can talk about what we are creating related to this new regulation about deforestation, so the EUDR. So our solution now have 4 modules, and we are creating a new one that is related to that. So how we can help to our customer and other companies to be compliant with this regulation. So how Marco Track and Trace, our traceability tool, is interacting with different external database to check forestry information and deforestation, geolocations, and also how it's connected to this Europe Union information system to deliver it data. So our tool is able to work in the 3 main points of this regulation. So gathering data from your customers, creating the due diligence statement based on the regulation, sending this information to check with external database of geolocation, and after interacting with the Europe Union information system to submit all these due diligence statements. So we are quite advanced on that. We are in discussion with current clients around how this will benefit them, and also happy to show what we have to other companies that are looking to address this sustainability claim.
Then we've got upcoming, let's say, expanded offering, which is using Marco Track and Trace for EUDR compliance, and it's a comprehensive solution, let's say, that covers all of the requirements of the regulation, right? So again, and I know that some conversations are happening right now, because ultimately some of these commodities like palm, soy, they are critical for some of the supply chains that we work with, right? And I think the other bit that you mentioned that is 100% agree critical is the flexibility of these digital solutions, right? So the fact that, again, and one of our main value propositions is we say, look, we've got this very flexible, very configurable solution, very configurable, but doesn't require bespoke development, right, to happen. And that means that the time to market is super quick, but also the adaptation to the customer's specific processes is also possible, right? We're not offering a pre-built, preset configuration and telling customers, oh, now you got to adapt to this, but rather...
And the capacity to penetrate into different verticals inside of the same company. So
Exactly.
we are not a solution for chemicals specific in one industry. We can work with procurement, we can work with supply chain, we can work with sustainability and ESG. So it's like a single database handling to solve different problems inside of a company.
Yeah, and that's kind of like our gift and our course, because it's so broad, and like we cover and bring solutions to so many different business units that it also makes those relationships difficult to manage and to move forward.
And now it's more easy because we have solid customer where we have penetrate different verticals inside of the company, as Cepsa, where we have different initiative with them, and also Repsol. So now we are able to really show where is the value and how this can work.
100%. Okay, so we got time for one last question, and what I kind of want you to do is kind of close with a bit of almost like a call to action, right? So what steps should industry leaders in these capital-intensive companies, what steps should they take next if they want to seize this business opportunity behind green supply chain management?
So first, please call me. Yeah, so I think that is see what is out there. So there is digital traceability tool. There is solutions that really can help company to become net zero and to go for all these goals that we have around sustainability. And one of those is our solution that, of course, is really powerful, and I invite all of you to visit our webpage. But the idea is that leaders need to be aware that digital is one of the powerful tools that they have to meet all these net zero goals that they have, and that we are prepared for that, to help them to really address all the sustainability issues, traceability and regulation, and we can help them to commit with their goals.
Excellent. With that, I'll thank you again, and I of course want to thank everyone else for watching. Also incentivize you to take Noslen up on her offer and give her a call, reach out to her if you want to learn more about what we do, or if you want to explore how these may be suitable, let's say, or useful for your own organization, right? I encourage you as well to kind of connect with us. You can learn more about Finboot through our website, finboot.com, or our social media channels on LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. And make sure you follow or subscribe or do any of those bits that are helpful there to stay up to date and stay tuned for new interviews like this, new conversations with some of our organization's leaders, and for more information about what Finboot is doing to accelerate that journey to net zero through green supply chain management solutions. Thank you very much.